All right.
More secrets of the lift. I'm getting good at that.
Dirty secrets.
So overhead press, one of the best movements we can do for the upper body, arguably probably the best movement that we can do for the upper body. But a couple of things that kept me from doing this movement early on in my fitness career, and one of those was understanding where this bar needed to end up at the end of the press, and some small tips. And I can't remember who first gave this to me, but they used a technique called, or they would, a cue that they would say is pull your head through the window. And I'll explain what that means and how important that is when doing this lift. So what's very common when people do a overhead press is when they get the bar in position and then they press up, people have a tendency to want to look up at the bar when they press. And what that ends up doing is it naturally arches my low back, puts all kinds of stress there, and my shoulders are in front of me. I want my shoulders back lined up with my ears, and I want to be straight up and down. So my body is completely supporting the weight over my head. I'm not having to compensate with my low back to keep it up over there. Now, that is the pulling the head through the window. So the pulling the head through the window, if you can imagine my arms, if Doug, you come in front of me now, when I press, the arms are what creates the window, and you pull your head through the window.
Now he's not looking down.
Yeah, I'm not tucking my head where I'm actually straining that. I'm just thinking about my arms are here, they're making a window, and I want my arms to be back behind. So now if you come
It's
from
like
the
your
side,
face is coming through like, surprise, I'm here.
Heads through the window,
It's me,
I
Adam.
fully
It's a party.
extend. Another thing, after I extend, I'm actually gonna keep it up there and stabilize for a second, and then I'm gonna reset, come all the way back down into my starting position. And I know some internet trolls are gonna be paying attention to my wrist. My wrists are broken because I don't have the shoulder mobility that I like. I didn't warm up or prime my body before we taught this exercise, but I'd like for my wrist to be nice and straight. This would be ideal, and then I press and keep my arms straight as they're over my head.
I was gonna get to that, but we'll go ahead and put it down on there, and I'll show it. Like, so along those lines, as far as like having a nice, firm grip, I see a lot of people actually not using their thumbs in. There's arguments people have for doing pull-ups as well, or just having a firm grip in general. Bringing your thumb around totally helps to give you that kind of stability and control in your grip. And
Well, they've actually done studies and shown that going thumbless changes recruitment patterns all the way up to the shoulder and neck.
There you go.
So it actually it's up the chain. It's important.
So it's very important. Just everything is important as far as the setup. So based off of your mobility and your shoulders, you want to really make sure that it lines up with how you can press efficiently. And some people, maybe they don't have the capacity to start real narrow and they need to go a little bit wider. So knowing that ahead of time is kind of where you're going to set it up. And then I'm gonna grip and keep my wrists nice and firm, straight up and down, so they're not coming back like that. Pulling my elbows back and in, and then I'm depressing and retracting my shoulders. So I'm in the packed shoulder position here to start. Okay, now I'm also bending my knees slightly, so my focus is to squeeze and contract glutes, abs, everything supporting my back, so that way when I get to that through the window position that Adam was showing, I'm fully supported and I'm keeping my whole body tense. So this tension part is really helpful. If I focus on now gripping the bar and pulling out slightly, I found that I feel like I'm even more supported.
Pulling out this way, right? You're driving out with your pinkies while you're grabbing the bar.
Exactly, so I'm pulling out just enough to really feel that support. And then I'm bringing it back down all the way to the chest. I'm really working on that full range of motion because of the benefit and strength that I'm gonna get in every angle of that lift.
Now, one thing that I see quite a bit, let me come in through here, Adam, is one of the mistakes I see with people when they shoulder press is that they fail to put their elbows under their hands. I'll see people start like this. What I've done here, by keeping my elbows out here, is I'm losing leverage. I'm now trying to press up, and my elbows eventually have to come underneath my hands, so I'm losing some movement. You want your elbows under your hands, nice and tight here. I should be able to support the bar nicely. When I come out here, I'm having to internally rotate my humerus a little bit. It's unstable in my shoulder. This can cause problems. It can cause recruitment pattern issues. So start right underneath, arms tight, and then do your your press. But that is a big one that I see people all the time where they're not able to tuck their elbows. They keep the elbows flared out. That's my contribution to the overhead press secrets video.
Beautiful.